Hey everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day so far and thanks for tuning in into this video. In this training video, we're going to be covering the crew schedule module. The crew schedule module is a great practical tool to help you manage your field operations, your shift scheduling, and making sure that your teams are being coordinated across multiple projects. So let's get started. We'll head over to menu at the very top and click on crew schedule under people. Once here, we'll quickly see a list of our employees, framing crew, HVAC crew, and a number of projects as well. And we'll get into all of this in a second. Before that, let's take a look at the top right hand corner and a few buttons you might be familiar with. The first one is a watch a how-to video, and this is likely how you got here in the first place. In addition to the video, we also have a number of different articles from our knowledge base, answering frequently asked questions and giving you some best tips and practices on how to best use the module, and I'd highly recommend checking it out. In addition, we also have a suggestion new feature button. If you have any tips or suggestions or idea on how we can improve, let us know. We're always monitoring this inbox and we're always looking to improve, and we're always launching updates based off the feedback that we get from our customers. And lastly is a module settings button. If you'd like to add custom fields or add certain custom modules or custom settings into this specific module, as well as adding crews, feel free to check out this module settings page. So right now we're looking at the project schedule or the crew schedule from October 27th to November 2nd, and we have one of our employees here and a list of custom projects and general overhead projects that we can add. In order to add more employees who aren't on this list, we can head over to the left-hand side under Employees and choose the employees we'd like to add. I'll go ahead and click Hit Save, go ahead and click Save, and they've now been updated. In order to add items, so for example, let's say that Robert Cherry is working on the Dew Drive home renovation project all of Monday, and let's say he's working here for half of Tuesday before he has to travel. I'll drag and drop Dew Drive home renovation and say he is providing site supervision on this project between 8 a.m. on the 20th of October to maybe only until 12 p.m. Hit save, and then he has to go travel in order to go to another job site. So I'll hit travel and set the date for, or set the time from 12 to 5 p.m. instead, and travel to Whitestone tenant build out after. I'll hit save here. So now he has these two tasks during the day, and for Wednesday he now has Whitestone tenant plaza build out to work on over here. The same can be done for the other employees if needed. Let's say that Martin Scovelli is supposed to be in the shop all day or for 3 days of this week. We can quickly add this here. And maybe Rob Ford is one of our site personnel, and he is going to be in the office all day this week, and we can quickly make his schedule for this entire week. As you can see, once Rob Ford's schedule was completed, a little signer notification popped up beside his name on the left-hand side. This is because we can now send the schedule notification to the employee to let him know this is his project, his schedule for the upcoming week. And once it's been sent, it'll be sent to him based off his preference settings for notification via email, SMS, or push, meaning the Android or iOS app on his phone. If you'd like to send out the crew schedule to everybody on this list, you can actually do so by going to the top right hand corner and clicking on Send Notification Schedule and hitting yes. And it'll send out a notification to everybody on the crew list based off their notification settings. As you'll see, you can also assemble custom crews as well. In order to do so, we'll head over to the top right hand corner and click on Module Settings. And we can add and customize crews over here. For example, let's work on our HVAC crew. I'll go ahead and click on Edit over here, and we can add a crew name to show if it should be part of the crew schedule and if they're active or archived. We can assign a leader. In this case, I'll keep Walter Williams, and we can also add team members of who should be here. So for example, I'll add John Tumber, myself, and Bobby Marino. Hit save, and now I have these 3 employees as part of my HVAC crew. The Show Crew to button shows who is able to see this crew, and usually it's the members of the crew itself. And you can add more if needed. And we can add a quick description if needed. HVAC crew for all ductwork and mini split installation, and hit save. And I now have updated my HVAC crew. So I'll go back, hit refresh, and I now have an updated HVAC crew over here. And I can do the same thing where I can assign which projects they'll be working on during that day. So for example, the HVAC crew might be working on the Red Sea home renovation project all of Monday. In order to quickly assign a shift to a crew, so for example, if the HVAC crew is supposed to work on instead the Do Drive home renovation project for the rest of the week, we can actually simply drag and drop to HVAC crew, and it's now been assigned to all the linked employees as part of that crew. If we open it up, we can see that it's been assigned to the HVAC crew, and meaning all the members of that crew. And I have it set up as a linked task, meaning that if I make any changes to this task, it gets linked to all the employees and all the members as part of that crew. In addition, if we'd like to say that they're working for the rest of the week, instead of dragging and dropping the Do Drive home renovation project each day, we can simply drag this across all the way to the end of the week and it automatically gets populated. Another item we can take a look at is new shift. In case we want to add a new crew but don't want to save that crew, for example, it might be a few people working together at one time and it's irregular, we can select or assign a schedule to multiple people at the same time by going to plus new shift at the very top right hand corner. Here we can choose one of our existing projects, and I'll choose maybe my Red Sea home renovation, and we can add in a description, reinstall shingles that blew off from storm last weekend. And let's say for these employees, I only want to put in Martin Scoville and Rob Ford. And this occurs between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. today. With that, I'll go ahead and click on save, and we now have a new shift created for 2 people that directly falls into our employees. There's a couple more things that we can take a look at for the crew schedule. If you'd like to take a look at other weeks, for example, previous weeks or forecast ahead, you can change the weeks that you're looking at by simply scrolling through the date at the very top. And if you'd like to return to the current date, you can simply hit today. In addition, you can also print a copy of the crew schedule as a PDF to supply to your field employees. In order to do that, I'll hit that print button at the very top and click on Download Crew Schedule. Here we can either choose all crews or select the crews that we want to do, and here I'll choose all crews and select the week that we're looking for as well. Once we hit download, it'll open up a PDF of the crew schedule for the remaining days of the week. In addition, we can also filter which projects we want to show up on this list. In order to do so, we'll head over to the module settings at the top right hand corner, click the green edit button beside general settings, and under projects shown, we can filter which projects we want displaying here. For example, it might be more convenient to undisplay or not display projects that are completed or unscheduled, but only the projects that we're working on. For now, I'll leave it here, but in case you'd like to filter which projects do show up on your crew schedule, you can do so here. You might also notice that a lot of these columns are all, or a lot of these project tags are all blue. In order to change the color associated with the project here, you can actually do so by going over to your project. I'll open up a different tab where I have one of my projects open, the Red Sea home renovation, and I can go to details on the left-hand side tab, and under configuration, I can select which project color I'd like for it to appear. So for example, we'll choose maybe a bright red color instead for this project. Now I'll go back to my crew schedule and I'll hit refresh. And now my project shows up with the bright red color associated with the project tab color. And lastly, one thing to note is that Other elements or other modules might also show up in the crew schedule, such as work orders, service tickets, Gantt chart schedules, and time off request. For example, you can see that Robert Cherry actually has a day off on Friday, and it comes directly from his time off request in the directory. Please note that you cannot modify those items directly in the crew schedule. They are read only and must be updated or edited in their associated module. So, for example, if I need to change this holiday or move it to a different date, I'll have to open up that original time off request in the directory, and I cannot change it here. So, that's pretty much it for crew schedule. I hope you learned a lot, and thanks for listening. If you need help or have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us by the live chat or send us an email at support@contractorforeman.com. And if you'd like to have any more in-depth training, make sure to book a session on our training page. Thanks for watching and see you in another video.